Hey there, this is Ethan, and in this video we're going to be going over starting your meditation practice and everything that you need to know. So let's get into it. Basically, I distilled this video, or at least in my mind, I distilled it into 5 main points that I personally wish I would have known when I had started my practice and that I think would be really beneficial for anyone who is either at the beginning of their own meditation path or someone who's interested in meditation. Maybe you've read a lot of the scientific literature that shows all these benefits, you've heard some stories, and you're interested in trying it out for yourself. Or maybe you're even a fairly experienced meditator, but are just looking to, have more information available. So I really think this video is going to have insights for anyone, regardless of their level, but technically speaking, it's geared more towards people who are just interested in starting out. And there is, at the end of this video, going to be a 6th bonus point. However, it's a little bit more metaphysical, a little bit more existential, so you know how I roll with existential wonder. It's not quite as necessary for you to know for starting a meditation practice, but it is, in my opinion, the deepest point out of all 5 and definitely worth communicating. So stick with me. So let's get into it. Number 1, consistency. This is such an important point, and it's probably one of the most obvious and perhaps over-communicated when it comes to mastering any domain, whether that's meditation, whether it's learning a new skill, learning how to play an instrument, really, literally anything. Consistency matters. But the thing with meditation, okay, the reason that I think it's worth emphasizing so much is that meditation requires daily exposure. This is my honest to God observations when it comes to it. As someone who started meditating, who did it sort of inconsistently. When I began, I would do like 20 minutes at a time, maybe 3 days in a row, and then I would back off and stop, and then I'd pick the habit back up, and then I'd fall off the wagon again. But what I have found is that meditation really and truly requires daily exposure. If you're serious about getting results with meditation, you've got to find a routine that you can stick to on a daily basis. And I will go as far as to say that consistency is even more important than the length that you meditate. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm a pretty big proponent of doing 1 hour a day. I think if you can work up to 1 hour a day, you're going to have phenomenal meditation results. But to be honest, 1 hour every single day is not very sustainable for most people, especially when you're first starting out. So if someone came up to me and asked, hey, is it better to meditate 1 hour a day once a week or 5 minutes a day, 7 days a week? Without hesitation, I would say the person doing it 7 days a week. I think they're going to get better results simply because of that daily exposure. So really, when you're starting out, or regardless of where you are on your meditation path, how experienced you are, you've got to be consistent with it. This is critical to your success with meditation. So I hopefully I emphasized that point enough. Point number 2 is patience. The other thing that you really have to understand about meditation is that it requires an enormous upfront amount of time and energy investment before you're going to see results. And a lot of times, the results that we're getting, we're not even really aware that we're getting them until almost like hindsight observation. But meditation requires a lot of patience. And the thing about the transformational aspect of meditation, the way that it works on your experience, the way that it works on your perception, the way that it works on your mind, is that it happens very, very, very slowly. And there is sort of this afterglow effect after you get done with a meditation session, just the residual effects of feeling less stressed, less anxious, more relaxed, that kind of thing. But a lot of times it dissipates as we go about our day and are just living our everyday life. So the long-term benefits of meditation, the effects that are permanent and ingrained into your experience, not just the afterglow effect that you get after you're done with a session, but the permanent, enduring effects that you can get from meditation, those happen in the long run. And I want to emphasize the long run. And the other thing that you need to understand about the way that meditation works, the results that you get, is that it's not linear. I mentioned this in a previous video of mine, but meditation's results are going to be nonlinear in nature, meaning that you might have a month where you are like literally just killing it with your meditation. You are having these wonderful sessions, you're committing to it, everything's going really well, and then just like boom, out of nowhere you hit a wall and you don't know what happened, but suddenly meditation is no longer giving you happy feelings, it's no longer very blissful, and in fact it's quite boring and producing a lot of just suffering. Like you're not having a good time anymore. So this is normal. You have to be ready for this, and you have to be consistent and focused and work through it, basically. So just be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself in terms of the progress that you're making. Be patient with yourself when it comes to how long you're able to sustain a meditation practice, or not a practice, but a session, whether you can only do 20 minutes or whether you can only do an hour. It doesn't really matter. Just basically be patient with yourself. So the third point that I wanted to mention that I felt worth bringing up is focus. This one is really, really important because I spent literally a year of consistent daily 1 hour a day of meditation, literally that much, before I realized how important this point was. And I could have saved months off of that first year if I had just known this one thing, and that is focus. Finding a technique that works on stabilizing your attention, that works on building your focus, that works on building your ability to concentrate. What happens when you meditate is that your mind is projecting thought after thought after thought into your consciousness, into your awareness. And because of the way that our society has conditioned us, our attention spans are extremely fragile. You'll notice that your attention is literally drifting from thought to thought throughout a meditation session. Even to like as much experience as I have like that, I still struggle with that, very much so. And you're probably going to continue to struggle with it for literally years before, which I know is a little intimidating at first, but before you're really getting to the point where your attention span is strong and can sit and just focus for an hour straight without any issues. But to really reap the benefits of meditation, you've got to be able to concentrate. Like you have to be able to concentrate, and not just concentrate like you would for maybe studying for an exam, but I mean concentrate without the sort of the motivation of trying to pass an exam, or the motivation when you're at your job to do a good job so you can go home and pay your bills, feed your family, that kind of stuff. Like you want to be able to concentrate in the most boring of environments. That's how powerful and how strong you want your attention span to be. And what ends up happening is as you're building your attention span and stabilizing it, you're transforming your mind to lock into what its intention is. So you create the intention, focus on this meditation object, and then you're actually able to manifest that. And that has extremely powerful implications for the way that you start living life, because now you are able to tap into a greater level of integrity, a greater level of willpower, a greater level of manifestation of whatever it is you're imagining or wanting to create in your life, just by being able to focus more effectively. So truly, like, expect to spend the first 6 months, the first year, the first 2 years even, working primarily on building your concentration. There are a ton of different meditation techniques, but stick with one that is going to allow you to focus, and you will save so much time, because those other techniques, like more mindfulness based ones, more open awareness ones, those really are only going to be effective if your attention span doesn't hop around like a monkey, like the monkey mind. You want to be able to focus. So number 4, okay, this point, there's no getting around it, really. I mean, you basically, point number 4 is to expect difficult sessions. I sort of mentioned this a second ago, but you've got to expect difficult sessions to unfold on your practice. Eventually, you will get to the point where most of your meditation sessions are extremely blissful, you're feeling very happy, you're feeling very good, and you're going to look forward to meditating. But when those, in the very beginning, and especially when you start pushing just how long you can take a session, maybe you go from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, or you go from 45 minutes to 60 minutes, the golden 60-minute number. Well, basically, it's going to get tough. Your mind is going to throw a lot of resistance at you, but this is a good thing. And what I have found actually is that having these really difficult meditation sessions is critical to our development as meditators, as practitioners. When you start meeting resistance on the meditation cushion, that is a huge sign that your mind is working through something, whether it's a suppressed emotion or whether it's a difficult reality to accept, which is emotional in nature, or whether you're on the brink of having a big insight into something. Difficult sessions are how we grow. And sometimes it can get very difficult, but if you persist through them, not only will you feel better about yourself, but you will make more progress than if you had either quit or realistically even some of the happier, more blissful meditation sessions. So expect that it's not always going to be easy, but also realize that when it gets difficult, that this is a huge indicator that you are about to make a breakthrough, both in your meditation practice, in your daily life, and in your overall level of consciousness, essentially. So really, like, just keep that in mind. But just be ready for that. So the last really important point that I want to mention is your practice, your meditation practice should not stop off the cushion. You want your entire life to be one walking meditation. So don't treat it as you have your meditation practice and then you have your real life. I mean, yes, you want to make that distinction insofar as you want to consistently have a practice. You're going to get certain things on a meditation cushion, in a chair, actually literally meditating, that you're not going to be able to get living life, because life is just filled with stimulus, it's filled with people, it's filled with interactions, and it's just a whirlwind of experience and perception. But on the other hand, you want to remain in a mindful state. You want to be able to be aware 24/7, and that's ultimately what meditation is all about. It's working towards transforming your entire experience of life off the cushion. I mean, that's fundamentally why most people start meditating. It's not just for the fun of it. It's so that they can have their whole life transform. So really focus on treating your whole life as a form of meditation practice. And this is something that even to this day, like, I struggle with. I sometimes lose my mindfulness. I still sometimes let my strong negative emotions overrule me when I'm off the meditation cushion, and I have to remember, like, hey dude, all of this is available for you to be meditating through. There's really, fundamentally, on an existential level, not to get too out there, there's no difference between meditating in silence and in boredom and in stillness as there is meditating in everyday life. You know, just being mindful, being aware as you walk through life. Fundamentally, you are still you in either of those outcomes. Fundamentally, reality is still reality, so it's all available to be mindful and to be aware. And not only that, but if you are more mindful outside of your meditation practice, this is going to help your meditation practice progress faster. So it's really just a win-win all around to really treat meditation as a way of being, almost. So those are the 5 points. If you can apply what I'm talking about here, not only will your results be faster, but it will clear up a lot of misconceptions and a lot of just confusion along the path. You know, you've got to build your focus. Don't treat practice and real life differently. All of it, all 5 points. I'll list them in the description below. But stick to these 5 points, and you will generate a lot of results with your meditation practice, and it'll go a long way towards transforming your life. So the 6th point that I really wanted to mention is this. Fundamentally, meditation is a tool for spiritual awakening. And this is something that many people do not realize. Meditation isn't just about working through emotions or improving your life, improving your mind, improving your focus. Yes, it does all these wonderful things, and yes, all of those benefits are yours for the taking if you so commit, if you so decide to commit to a meditation practice. But let's not kid ourselves here. Fundamentally speaking, meditation is a tool to help you spiritually awaken. And I would be being inauthentic if I were to not communicate this to you, especially someone who is relatively new to the meditation path. So what is spiritual awakening? Spiritual awakening is basically becoming aware, becoming conscious of the way things really are. It's a waking up to the way that the world actually is. Now, this might sound a little flowery, but the most grounded, down-to-earth definition I can give is that you have insight into the nature of maybe yourself, into the nature of your mind, into the nature of reality, into the nature of existence, into the nature of another person. By another person, I mean like another sentient being. You have insight into the present moment and time. You might have insight into the nature of space and objective reality, what an object is. You might have insight into the nature of survival, what life and death is about. These are all various domains that have the potential for insight and the potential to contribute towards your spiritual awakening. But basically, spiritual awakening is about having insight into the nature of how things really are, sort of as an amalgamation of all of these different domains of existence. And fundamentally speaking, meditation is a tool for that, because what you are doing when you meditate, you are refining your mind, you're refining your perception, you're refining your awareness, your consciousness to have these insights. We can't really force insights to happen necessarily, but we can create conditions in which insight can occur. And one of the most powerful conditions for having insight is the state of mind that meditation moves its practitioners towards. So you just need to understand that when you begin this meditation path, you might very well have insight into the way things really are, into the nature of reality, and those insights are not always rainbows and butterflies. Like, it can be pretty intense. So you just have to be prepared to become more woke if you begin to meditate. You might just spiritually awaken and become enlightened. You never know. So I'll go on ahead and wrap the video up here. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. If you like this style of content, meditation, psychology, philosophy, I didn't really talk about them here, but psychedelics even. I talk about all these things on my channel, and really moving forward, I want more of my channel to be geared towards helping people spiritually awaken, to wake up to their true nature, to build powerful and happy lives, and hopefully, hopefully my videos do that for you. So if you like them, subscribe. If you have any thoughts or comments, please comment them in the section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time.